Pause. Recording is in progress. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, so we're gonna touch base tonight. I know everybody but Lynn. I don't know. I don't know. Australia and the UK don't have Thanksgiving, do they? They have it.
No.
Is it a different day?
Oh yeah, we have it in October.
You guys have it in October. I wonder
Yeah.
when Rebecca and Lee, when they celebrate this sort of thing. I don't know. Anyway, I know most of you are, Kate looks exhausted. Most of you are preparing for tomorrow. Show of hands, who's having some anxiety regarding it? Anybody? Anybody? Y'all just chill. We good then? We can sign off. Nobody needs any help tonight. I know for me, my first Thanksgiving with Leaf was I was 2.5 months out. And for me, I was still kind of in shock and moving back and forth through starting to believe, but not really knowing. I was still in that disconnected phase. But I was apparently, unbeknownst to me, I was giving thanks already because I had a memory pop up from 5 years ago yesterday. But I do remember feeling extremely compelled to bring him in and to make damn sure that his name was spoken. So that meant that for me, what I did that first year was probably a little bit overboard, but it brought me so much comfort. Was that's when I made the centerpieces with his urns. I did the 4 candle lighting, and I am going to post the 4 candle lighting meme. I will tell you, I do not use that one anymore because it's very much talks about them, in the past tense, like we light this candle in remembrance of you. We light, and I actually ended up tweaking mine, and I would say we light this candle to signify your presence here today. Like I changed up the words. I was trying to find it today where I archived it, and I cannot find it so far. So I'm going to try to find it tonight and get it posted if you guys want it for tomorrow. So I did a multitude of things to bring Leaf into that very first Thanksgiving. So tonight, what I want to do is I just want to know how everybody's doing. I know Pam, you've got Brandon's birthday tomorrow too, right? Is it his birthday tomorrow and Thanksgiving? Like, so humongous celebrations. So everybody wish Brandon happy birthday. Happy birthday, Brandon, tomorrow. How old is he gonna be, Pam?
I think 39. I don't even keep track. I really don't.
I can barely remember what age
I know. I think he'd be 39, but I went and got him his because he always liked a Dairy Queen cake. So I had him, I ordered it and said, "Happy heavenly birthday, Brandon." So, and I remember how you said you planted, you just plated I haven't done that ever. Just put the plate right out there. A food and leave it sit there.
Yeah. And so there are Native Americans that do the feeding the spirit tradition, and it's kind of like Dia de los Muertos feeds the spirit on Day of the Dead, right? And so it's kind of along those lines. Leaf gets barely any, and actually I will be quite honest with you, last time I actually completely forgot about it, and then I was like, sorry kid, I'm sure that you had your fill of everybody's bowl. But that first year I sat one of his urns at a spot, and I lit candles around it, and I put his class ring on it, and of course, like I said, my first year I went over and above. And then I plated his food and his dessert, and it sat there. So what some people do is they take that food outside and they feed nature with it, like the animals. What I generally did was I ended up, because I didn't like throwing it away. That felt kind of painful for me, quite honestly. So I ended up usually, sometimes we would all take a little taste off his plate so that we were also eating of what fed his spirit. And then sometimes there have been times that I just ate the whole damn plate myself. So you can do a multitude of different things with that. Um, last year at Christmas, I think that's when we ended up eating his plate because I made keto Christmas and I couldn't give the keto ingredients like the sugar alcohols to the animals outside because it will kill them. So, because it has like different sugar alcohols that they're not natural. So, but yeah, so I do like to plate food. I still like to plate food. Birthdays, I always, buy the cake. We plate food for it, plate the cake for him, sing happy birthday to him, the whole 9 yards. So are you planning on plating food for Brandon tomorrow then?
Yeah, I had thought about
Awesome.
it. And I had a reading with Marie Hess.
She's awesome, isn't she? She's going to be one of our mediums in
Yes.
December. So
And for me, the evidence wasn't as, it was still good, but wow, the emotion, the love and all that she delivered to me. But yeah, anyway, she had said that he liked the idea of me plating his food. So we'll give it a shot.
hold on, I'm fielding a message from the group real quick.
Yes.
Good. I think that's good. And I love that you had a reading with her. This is the thing, guys, especially Fawn. Here, this is something for you to take away. When you're getting ready to hit milestone days, if you feel compelled to get a medium reading before then, so you can feel that literal, they remind me of like having a phone call with Leaf. Like I like to get 2 a year now, but it's like ring ring. All right, I'm gonna ring my kid up. He's gonna tell me everything that's going on that I already know. We're gonna validate with each other, and so it's a really good thing to do before birthdays or milestone days, right? Anniversaries, any other time too. But really, it's really helpful to get through those really hard, those hard milestone times. Okay, I'm a horrible multitasker. Give me 2 seconds, guys.
Well, and one thing I have found with getting readings in proximity to milestone occasions, especially if like I'll usually do a reading a couple days after Sophie's birthday, and she will always bring up things that happened when her friends came here to celebrate her birthday party, or she'll bring up things that happened at Christmas at my brother's house. So that's just a little extra layer of validation for me too. When you do a reading around a milestone and they bring up things that you haven't posted about it on Facebook, it only happened in your living room and the medium's talking about it. No place they could get that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do a vibration check-in, okay? Because some of you guys look exhausted, some of you look busy, some of you look a little bit stressed, and I'm having a hard time reading y'all tonight. I gotta tell you. So let's do a vibe check-in. Of course, 10 is high vibration, right? That's the high flying disc, and you're, all over, woohoo, all over the place. And 1 is low. So everybody hold up your hands where you're at. Hi, Fawn's husband, I'm assuming. Hold up where you're at, guys. I'm probably at a 6. I'm tired today. Debbie's at a 4. Pam's going 7, 8, 7, 8. 7. Megan's at a 5. Kathy's 7. Lynn, where are you at? Vibe wise.
About 7.
About a 7?
Mhm.
Angie's like, I'm at a 5. I have 2 kittens here that are driving me crazy. Peggy, where are you at? 5? Okay. You're at a 5, Fawn? That's a 5. Girl, that's a win. You're brand spanking new. A 5 is good. That is a damn good day today, then. Debbie, Debbie Wallace, where are you at? Where are you? If you don't want to come on camera, just tell me where your vibration's at.
I am good. I'm in the car and it is vibrating very high.
Okay, good, good. Susan, where's your vibration at today?
I'm about a 2 laying here in the dark, not
Okay,
on camera.
okay, that's all right. You can come any way you want to.
Okay.
Caroline, how about you?
1 to 10 is what it
Are
is.
you getting naked
Maybe
in front
a
of us,
4.
woman?
4. It's a 4.
A 4?
I'm
Are you
trying to
getting
get-
naked?
yeah.
Are you getting naked in front of us? Are you taking your shirt off?
Am I what?
You know you have your camera on, right?
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
gotta look. I have a tank top.
Okay,
on.
woo! I was like,
Yeah,
all
no,
right,
I'm not that.
Sharon's being striptease us
I'm not
tonight.
that laid back. I mean, I'm laid back, but not that much. No.
Okay, so we've got everywhere from a 2 to an 8, right? So those of you that are vibrating 5, 6, 7, 8, that's pretty good considering. Okay. For those of you that are vibrating lower, that's okay too, and it's to be expected, especially if this is your first go around, if this is your first time moving through it. Is anybody experiencing are you feeling agitated, any agitation, any underlying anxiety? Is anybody feeling that?
Yep.
I just
I am.
flipped. Yeah. I just
So
flipped
Meg,
out for no.
you did?
Yeah. Whatever.
So you know what anger is usually, right? Do you understand? Like when I get agitated, in fact, I don't think I even realized this. When my friend Brad passed a few months ago, Tom was doing something and I just, and he said, well, I can tell that you're grieving, Nikki. And I said, what the hell is that supposed to mean? He's like, because you get so agitated when it isn't like, because I wasn't crying, right? Because I know my truth and I really didn't have a lot of tears, but there was some agitation there still to move through the grief process now. And when I didn't have the tears, because you live in your truth, right? But there's still a physical separation, that piece to grieve. Mine comes out as agitation, like being agitated, Kate. So it's a lot of times with anger, where you feel powerless, right? Anger comes into play because it gives the ego more control, a sense of control, right? And also I've seen things that say, what is that? What is it? When you're agitated, it can also be like a subconscious missing someone. Okay. So yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that you flipped out. Who'd you flip out on? Did you flip out on Sean?
No, not today. That was yesterday. Today I like literally, so I came down in Anthony's room because this is like where I do all the classes now. And there was like shit moved around and I was like, what the fuck? And I like looked around and I'm like, well, this is weird. And I just put stuff back together. And then it hit me that my stepson took his speakers out of here and said anything about it to me, which like, if he had asked, I would have said yes, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. But like nobody said anything about it to me and just came in here and took something. So I was immediately like, don't fucking ever go in there. What the hell, Kate? It's a goddamn material thing that means nothing to you. Like I probably owe an apology, but also like, hey man, you're gonna
Probably.
ask
Well,
me.
yeah, and so it just leads into everything has purpose, right? And so now you get to sit and have a blatantly honest, open conversation where you're also accountable for your reactivity and he becomes accountable for, he probably thought it was no big deal, right? But you're also, and just explain to him, for me, that is still very much a sacred space. And, yes, I overreacted, but I need you to work with me here because it is a sacred space to me. And so people coming in and out, taking what they want, like that's going to set me off right now. And eventually it probably won't be that way for you. But you know, we're only what, 2 years out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's still very, very new. And you know, his room is still the same for the most part, correct?
Yeah, I mean, like it has like a lot more like it reflects a lot more now of my relationship with him now,
Right.
which I feel like that was a really healthy transition, but like there's, in order for me to do that, there's still a lot of like his personal things in here.
Mm-hmm. I understand
Like
that.
physical things I shouldn't have the attachment to, but like I'm not ready for that yet. So we're just gonna,
And that's perfectly okay. And the best thing to do
yeah.
is to like wean yourself off of that too, right? I mean, when Lee first left body, I wore his socks every day. I wore his clothes every day. I had his ashes around my neck every day. I had his class. I mean, like I did not move through my day like I was full on Lee. I might as well have been full on Lee, right? As I moved through and I became closer to him in spirit, I literally kind of weaned myself off of those physical things, right? Like I used
Yeah.
to sleep with this hoodie every night. I used to sleep with this teddy bear every night. I used to sleep with a pillow with his face on it every night. Poor Tom, you know, he'd get into bed and I'm bam, bam, bam. I've got all this like I got all this crap stacked around me, you know. And so, but now it's like, you know, especially now, it's like, oh, I wonder where Lee's hoodie's at. I have no idea where it's in this house somewhere in the midst of the unpacking. I have no idea where I packed it. 5 years ago, that would not have been packed. It would have been placed in a separate bag, brought over in the car, placed in a special place so I wouldn't lose it in the chaos of moving, you know. So you can wean yourself off of those physical things, right? Um,
And in the
that's
meantime, don't tell yourself that you shouldn't be attached to them because
no.
it's okay if you are.
It is. Yeah, of course you are. Of
Yeah.
course you are.
I mean, I
You
still
know?
have stuff from Kevin 5 years ago, and I still haven't gone through a couple of his bags we got back when he came home from residence, and that's fine. We
Yeah,
went through some stuff. It's just take it like one day at a time, like seriously.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I did do the whole, like I couldn't leave without my trinkets, my Anthony trinkets in my purse. I got over that. I always had to sleep with the hoodie. I got over that. Like I've slowly been getting over the things, but like you said, this is my sacred space. Like this is where I know if I come in this room, I can connect with him like 1, 2, 3. So like I'm very comfortable here and like, don't move anything. What if you fuck up my connection? But that's just my stupid ego. Like
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with his physical shit. It just, it's fucking Thanksgiving, girl.
It is. And as you learn to integrate more, right? Integrate both paradigms, meld both paradigms, then that like you won't feel like, oh, that's where I connect, because you'll start to really be like, oh, I'm connecting like all the time anywhere I want, right? But it's okay that you have that as your sacred space right now. So, and then I heard you say, and tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Right. So
Are you mourning a little bit? Are you having some grief?
I might be. I don't know. I feel like it's so hard. It's hard for me right now, Nikki, because like I know all of these things. Like I very much live in my knowing. I'm so loud in my truth. Like I'm finally getting the contrast from like my people are finally like, maybe you are a little crazy now. Like I'm finally getting that word. For a long time I didn't. And of course that bothers me because I'm an empath and, it fucks me up, and then I am really good at connection all the time. I do see the signs every day. I do live in my truth. I know he's here with me. I don't doubt that. But then there's stuff, like why, if I know that so well, why do I still react like this to things like that? You know what I mean? Or why am I feeling like the little bit of anxiety or like,
Because you're a human, Kate.
Right.
You're still embodied. you're still in flesh.
It's so
You're
hard.
still-
It's so hard because I can close my eyes and go hang out with Anthony and my grandma and the fucking spirit guides, and then I open them and I'm here. And I'm having the problem of like,
the disconnect between the two places, the two
Yeah.
places.
yeah,
Yeah. How do we learn to live in both those places at the
So-
same time?
Okay,
Right.
number one,
Right.
okay,
That's what-
okay.
Yes.
at the
That
same
is not that is not a light switch. What has happened for me is I don't live in both places at the same time now. I
Okay.
live in the earth plane and I can fully recognize spiritual synchronicity when I'm being guided, what's being put in my path, when leaves around, when so and so's around, while I'm earth focused. I no longer jump over to that paradigm because that paradigm joins me now on the earth plane. I will tell you, that takes time, ladies. That is not a light switch. I will tell you right now. As you do more re-entry, you will start to learn, it will happen naturally. I don't sit down and intentionally connect with Leaf anymore. I haven't done it in over a year. I very rarely get a medium reading. There are days that go by, 2 days that I don't talk to Leaf because quite honestly, I'm busy. And if he was down here in his body, there would be 2 days that I didn't talk to Leaf because quite honestly, I would be busy. So, but I'm also 5 years out and that is going to take time. And I think it actually happens quite naturally. Did it happen for you naturally, Kathy? But it's scary at first. It is scary at first because when you start becoming earth focused again, you may panic and be like, oh my God, I haven't sat down and intentionally connected in 2 days. Like I would have that panic and then I'd have to say, oh, wait a minute. Like I'm all the time connected, all the time.
Well, and when I would have those little panics, and it every once in a while it'll start for like 2 seconds now. Invariably, I will hear Sophie in my head go, "Really, Mom? Really?
Yeah.
Stop."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
Yeah, I'm like that too. I'm like that too, Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll hear
And
Kevin
they're-
saying, come on, Mom.
Yeah. and
Like,
the-
get
hey,
serious here.
You know
I know.
what? They're the best grief guides there are. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, Leaf would be like, "We're doing this again." I'd be like, "You shut up!" Like I'm still down here in this dead body, you
Yeah.
know. But the thing about it is you. I mean, this part of the contrast is another small. It's a layer of ego taming, right? Because we've talked about like you get it really tamed in that first go round, right? There is no death. Oh, my kid isn't dead, but then it's sneaky, so it's going to sneak in other ways. And what happens is if you start looking at it, Kate, as a tool, like ego starts yapping, instead of getting pissed at ego, it starts saying, oh, you're yapping because I need to remind myself, oh, hush, ego, you don't know what you're talking about. It's giving you it's giving you power. Okay. It's strengthening your spiritual muscle still every time. Is it exhausting? Yes.
yeah.
Does it get tiring? Yes. Yeah. But it's needed because eventually, just like you saw did you guys see my post in the big group the other day about I had to go and I had to condense all the things and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know how much shit my kid had because I got rid of a lot of it and somehow I still have 2 trunks full. Some of it's Omri stuff, but I had not opened that trunk and I think I've opened it twice. Once when I was still in very, very deep grief, and then once briefly when we went to get stuff from Missouri and bring it here, I opened it just to shuffle it around, make sure it was all okay. But even 5 years out, living as loud as I live in my truth, opening that, having Leaf smell whoosh out at me, handling his last pair of tennis shoes on earth, because the kid loves some damn tennis shoes. His socks, his sexy socks. I mean, he'd spend $100 on 2 pairs of socks. I'm like, that is ridiculous. Now I have a duffel bag, probably with $2,000 worth of socks in it, that I hope to maybe someday have made into a blanket. I don't know. It's just a bag of socks at this point. I mean, they're like 50 bucks a piece. I'm not going to throw those out. So even in that, Kate, with where I'm at, and you guys know, I mean, you see me stand, I mean, I live my truth. I've shifted paradigms fully, really, you know, really, really worked really hard at it. But in that, it hit me. And I felt trauma energy connected to that, because when I packed all of that in there, I was still in, I mean, that was within the first month, right? So I actually felt the trauma energy overtake me. It was like like an energetic flashback. It was the weirdest thing. And it did. Tears came, and Tom came over and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Ah." And then within a matter of moments, it was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm done with that." Like, duh, he's literally right here and gives zero shits about his last pair of tennis shoes. And I moved it through it that quick. That does not happen often with me, but when it does happen, it's like this. The shift is like this, right? So that will come for you guys. It will come for you guys as you work on it more and more and more. You've all lived that. Debbie, you've lived it, where at first it took everything you had within you to shift. It's easier to shift into your truth now, right? So this is part of the journey. It's part of the learning process. And even though I know you hate that pesky ego, Kate, it actually comes as a tool to help strengthen your spiritual muscle and to help you stand stronger in your truth. And you know what I have to say about people getting comfortable enough, like, "Oh, Kate should be okay now, and now she's crazy." Who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter. I mean, I'll own my crazy. You know what? If being crazy is what brings me peace, by God, I'll own it. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. So let them judge you.
Problem owning it. It just, it's I think last year when I first did this class, I wasn't having any. I didn't have any for such a long time. And then all of a sudden, like, it's like the ones standing in the back are finally moving forward. Like, hey, the one that upset me this week was, "Don't teach my grandson this." And I was like, excuse me? What?
So
Like,
here's a level you're at, setting boundaries and saying, he may be your grandson, but he's my son, and I'm in charge of what he gets taught. You're setting more boundaries, and you're going to be doing it more lucidly now, because people are going to start coming forward, because last year they are not touching that with a 10-foot pole, because you're a heavily grieving parent. Now they've had a year, everybody's moving forward. Kate's okay. Oh, well, Kate's okay now. Now I can tell her she's crazy. No, set the boundary. I didn't have to start setting hard boundaries until year 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody let me do whatever the hell I wanted to do in year 1. If I wanted to sleep for 7 days, they let me sleep for 7 days. If I didn't want to shower for 10 days, they didn't make me shower for 10 days. If I didn't want to eat for 8 months, they didn't make me eat for 8 months. Come year 2, all that shit changed. And that's when they started putting expectations on me. That's when they started telling me what I should be doing. That's when all the things. And I learned to set some hard boundaries quick. And I walked away from a lot of people, because if they could not respect my boundary, then they were not privy to my energy anymore. I mean, I was estranged from my parents from 2 years to 3.5 years because of that, because I was like, no. So that's the phase you're getting ready to walk into. Okay. And you're not the only one. I have clients on here that I work with privately. I'm not going to call them out, but we've talked about this same thing. Okay. So it seems to be a totally kind of almost natural timeline that happens with it. Don't you think, Kathy?
Yes, and I tend to believe, as sad as it is that we have to do it, and you're gonna laugh when I say this, I really think it's just another one of those things that spirit sticks in front of us to help cement our truth, because we got to grow a pair. You got to grow a pair, Kate, because there are going to be a lot of people in your life that are going to go, oh my God, you can't say that. Oh my God, no. And you have to learn it. It's just, I really think it's one of those things where, you know, those memes where spirit's pushing you off the cliff. It's kind of like that, where they're pushing you into it and they're like, okay, you really believe this? Let's see if you really believe it. Do you got the chutzpah to say you believe it other places than just on Zoom with other people who believe it?
This is the part where they want you to live in it.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, when I started setting boundaries, I was not nice about it. Like, I was a stone cold bitch, a reactive bitch about it. I was not nice. I was like, oh no, you fucking did it. That, and then, which made me look crazy and unstable, right? Because I'm like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Now I can just be like, no. So we also learn through this process, because setting a boundary with people around you that are telling you how to grieve, or telling you what you should be doing, or this or that, telling you what you need to be believing, or that, oh, what a great coping, you know, that's one that went all through me. Oh, what a great coping mechanism, Nikki, to believe he's not dead. Are you kidding me? So what I learned was that I didn't have to be roaring, you know, and I'm loud. So I didn't have to be roaring and setting boundaries, but now I can set a boundary and go, yeah, I ain't got time for that. That is, nope. And what that is, it's part of the way that spirit is, like Kathy said, getting you to learn to stand strong and live your truth. But it's also because living your truth and setting your boundaries is ultimately what is best for your highest self, right? And this leg of the journey becomes about you stepping into your higher self. It's not just about Anthony anymore. You already found him. Now it's about finding you and where your boundaries are. And Anita looks like she's so cold. You look like you're so bundled up. It was earphones. I'm like, she has on earmuffs and oh my God. But so that's, I mean, you're entering a new phase here, Kate. And there's going to be agitation and anxiety that comes with it. Breath work is going to be very, very powerful for that. Tapping is going to be very, very powerful for that, to release some of these energy points, right? I'm going to put up some tapping for grief as we move through holiday seasons. I know not all of you like tapping, and I've used it off and on. It's kind of a last resort tool for me. I'm like, shit, nothing else has happened. I need to tap. I need to tap it out. I need to tap it out. But for some of you, you may find that maybe it didn't help in the deep grief, but maybe for the anxiety it does, or for the agitation it does, you know. And Kate, back to burn letters. If your mom or your mother-in-law, whoever it was, you know, done pissed you off by
not my mom. Not my mom.
Yeah, I
No.
didn't figure it was your mom. So back to basics. When you hit this part of your journey where you're starting to have to set boundaries and live large and loud in your truth and find a way to do it without being reactive and, you know, all of those things, you go back to your basics of your toolbox: burn letters, tapping, breath work, extra grounding, extra, you know, violent flame cleanse, chakra balance cleanse, back under the, you know, shower, having it all be washed off, cutting cords. You go back to your basics when you hit another level, because the basic tools are always, they always have a variation that you can use at any level, which is, I love it.
Yeah, you know, that's what I forget that. I forget that, like, I have tools to figure this out, and I don't have to rely on my connection, you know, because I mean, I'm sure they get burnt out. I'm a lot. I know that. And I know that I burn them out. So I got to figure this out myself.
Well, and the thing about it is, this has nothing to do with your connection. This has to do with your interaction with earth people, other people in the flesh. which has, I mean, it's guided by spirit and all of that, but really, this is about you being in your
Forged
spiritual
in
self.
fire.
Yeah.
You're being forged, Kate. Welcome to the shadows, girlfriend.
Yep.
No, no. Oh, yeah. Cool. Great. Good
I would
times.
do some,
Yeah,
I would do
so
some burn letters
all
and
about-
some tapping.
I forgot all about the burn letters. It's a great
Yep.
idea.
Yep. It's always go back to the basics. If you don't know what to do and you're down in it, go back to the basics. Back to the basics, back to the basics, you know. And Fawn, I know you don't
if
know.
somebody is really, really giving you a hard time, don't forget you can freeze them in the freezer, and it
Mhm.
works.
Do tell.
Well, now
With
you
the
have to
free-
do it with good intentions. You know,
With
it's not like you
loving
freeze
No,
them
I'm
that you
not-
want
I'm-
something
yeah.
bad. You just want them to. You just
Right.
want peace from them in your life. So
Right.
you write their name on a little slip of paper, and put the piece of paper in. I use those little snack size Ziploc bags, and put a little bit of water in the bag with the piece of paper with their name on it, and zip it up and put it in the freezer.
Sweet.
And
You
it
know what?
works.
In
Thank
5
you.
years, I've frozen my ex-husband. I probably Tom at one point was like, "Are we gonna have to buy a whole deep freeze for just him?" I'm like, we may. But you know what? In the last 3 months, that man has done a 180-degree turnaround. He's been in therapy, and I'm like, those bags are never ever getting thawed. They will. I moved them in a cooler from the apartment to here, and they went straight into the freezer here. So it's a powerful tool because intention is everything, right? Where attention and intention goes, energy flows. That's one of the things, and Debbie Wallace is the one that brought it up to me, is that one of the things that I want you guys to do tonight is, and I'm going to post about it so you can post your answers underneath. So it's kind of a covert assignment, kind of. Yeah, it's an assignment. It's homework. I want you guys each to post what your intention is for healing this holiday season, what you want to move through, where you want to level up. If it is that you're tired of ebbing and flowing so much, maybe the intention is that you're going to get more consistent with cutting cords and grounding or adding a new tool in or whatever it is. So, and I will post that tonight about the intention for your healing through the holidays. Okay. All right. Who else? Who else is going through it? And Fawn, I know you don't know a lot of like the tools that I'm talking about right now because this is the first class that you've joined, but I'll be posting some of those. I'll just go through and do a quick toolbox post, and you feel free to reach out and ask me, like, Nikki, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What is this? And I'll tell you what it is. Okay. Who else? Debbie Johnson, how are you doing since you're cooking, number one, and since you're having, this is your first one with Mom and Spirit too?
Yeah, really struggling. It's
Okay.
it's been hard. I don't cook, so I'm hosting Thanksgiving, so this is really interesting. But it's hard because she did all the cooking, and now I'm trying, like today, I did all the desserts and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
it's this morning, I've been really good about making sure, like every morning I do my meditation and I do my automatic writing with Isaac, and I kept saying, Isaac, make sure you're with me today, and he's like, Mom, you get busy in your head, you don't always see my signs, and I'm like, I know, baby, but I'm gonna see him. And he did. We were getting, I had my other boys help me, and we were getting like song after song after song of like,
Just talking to you all day long. For
I
real.
know, because we were like, a song would come on, and my other boys and I'd be like, oh yeah, remember when Isaac and I would do this? Remember this was Isaac and my song? So I'm like, yeah, baby, he's with us. Make sure Mama does her cooking right, and like, I got you, Mama. So that was helpful, but in other respects, then it's like I have a hard time because then that, like, so, his presence were known and I'm very, very thankful. But then it was like that reminder. And then the reminder that why I'm doing this, because my mom is gone and she's not here and I can't ask her how to do any of this. And I'm
Oh,
hosting.
but you can.
Well, I can't, like, I did ask her, like, in the automatic, right? Like, Mom, how do you do the turkey? What do you use, But, it's not the same,
Right.
so then I just like, my problem is that I just kind of shut down. And then I just like, I put things aside and I went and took a nap and I'm just like, didn't want to get out of bed for the rest of the day. So I'm going the opposite way. I didn't have the anger. I just wanted to just shut down.
Okay.
And that's what I do. I either go in robot mode so I don't have to feel, or I just want to shut down. And that's where I'm at, is I am struggling because yeah, they're not here this holiday. They're not physically here. And I know the truth. And I'll do like I always do. I always set up a plate and I have a picture of them together and each will have a candle. And I've asked them what they wanted. And my family's really great about doing that with me and they don't give me issues. But it's just this double whammy. Like last year I thought, okay, this one's going to be tough. It's my first year without Isaac, but it's like a double whammy. Like now I don't have my mom. This has been her thing. She's always done the holidays. And this is our
Right.
first holiday without going to her house. Because we just sold her house. So it's just like,
So I want
my
you
chest is heavy.
I bet it is. Have you done any cleansing? Like, have you Epsom salt soaked or done a violent flame, to throw it all in there so that you can live more lightly in your truth? Anything to make you lighter?
I do the Epsom salt bath. I was going to do that tonight before I go to bed. I have done that. And I try to meditate every day. And I've really been sticking hard to that. Like, I got to have my hour. So I'm very set on that. But yeah, I haven't had that heaviness in my chest. And now it's just back again. So.
Well, and you've got you've got earth stuff added on top of that because you don't cook, you're hosting, like, some of the heaviness because remember that grief will become the default, right? We always
It will.
attribute everything like, oh, it's because mom's not in body. But so it could be more that you're feeling more heaviness because you have a lot more responsibility now. And then your brain takes it back to, oh, I have to do this responsibility because mom's not in body. So it will loop and default, right? So if you can separate it, Debbie, and say, I want to shut down because by damn, I don't want to have to do the damn turkey and the desserts. And like, I want to go to mom, sit down and eat and then leave, So try to separate it and also start thinking of some narrative shifts, right? Instead of letting your ego say, mom is gone, because even though you know your truth, when the words that you use will either bring peace or bring pain, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I know my truth. And like my mom has been studying birds and that's her thing. And so she's out there and I'm like, hi, mom, what you doing? Thank you so I can see them. I know my truth, but it's still just so fucking heavy. It's just.
Yeah. Well, and it's new, Debbie. I mean, you've gotten to a point where you were doing really, really well. And it was like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to pop on out of here now. Right.
Right.
And there was trauma surrounding that as well. So I want you to look at measured progress. Okay. Because even though you've had this added grief and added layer on top of it, you are still, and I can say this with 100% certainty, you are still not back to where you were last year at this time. So, I mean, this is going to be a very big time for you to really dig in and look at your measured progress so that you can know that as you keep traveling through this, it's going to get better. Okay. It is going to get lighter, but it's going to ebb and flow for a little bit because you have a different dynamic that you have to use the same tools to work through. Blessed be that you got to move into this already with knowing, right?
Right. And that's been huge.
Yeah. So lean into your gratitude, lean into your found. That is a huge found, right? Because you didn't have to start from scratch this time. Thank God. Right.
No.
So, because you get to walk this with the knowing. And guys, when when you haven't been feeling super duper duper heavy and then the heaviness comes, it's okay to take to the bed for a little bit. I mean, you know me, I'll be like, go to bed, go get, do radical self-care. So Debbie's like, I can't, I have pies to make.
Right.
But if and for you, because you're a people pleaser too, right? And so
Mhm.
it's like, I want to make sure everything's okay for everybody else. This is going to be, just like we were talking with Kate, this is going to be a powerful thing for you to say, you know what? I need 2 hours. So if I
Mhm.
don't get the pumpkin roll and the pecan pie done,
Yeah, no.
right now, then
Mhm.
I'm gonna go take a 2 hour nap and I'm gonna shut down for a little bit. That's okay. That's
That's what I
okay
did.
to do. Good.
Mhm.
I'm proud of you for doing that
Yeah.
because before you would have been like, oh, I gotta get this and this and this and this and this. So that's measured progress too.
Yeah. And even when I've been doing the automatic writing with like my guides, they're like, stop, stop being in control, stop being a perfectionist, and I'm like, all right, all right. But it's also too like we're also having our basement done next week. And so that means we have to move everything out the basement. And that's kind of been my like, I don't know what to do with Isaac stuff, so I'm gonna put it down the basement. I don't know. And so now I'm also having to, you know, go through his stuff. And then also now my boys are getting older, so it's all these losses like going through Isaac stuff and going through my boys' stuff when they were little and they're not into that. And what do I do with all this? And I can't just store it in my basement because I gotta clear out my basement this week. And so it's just all these like
Yeah,
triggers.
yeah, lots of triggers, lots of, yeah,
Yeah.
you're in some turbulent times. But you know what? You made a good point because you said my boys are getting older. And so I have all their stuff to go through too that I don't
Mhm.
know what to do with. So this is a great reminder, guys, right? So if Isaac were in body still, you would actually still be having some of these same feelings because there's nostalgia tied to all their little kid stuff, right?
Right.
So that's very telling. It's actually very profound because
Mhm.
as your boys in flesh, you're having to get rid, let go of the tangible pieces of their childhood, right?
Mhm.
It's just like Isaac has outgrown his earth body. He's out, he grew quick. He got big quick. So you're
Right.
having all this nostalgia that you have to release right now, and that's hard. I
It
mean,
is.
that's hard.
That's
And
and my
but
and my mom stuff
you're
too.
doing it with a smile, Debbie. You really, I think if you were to go back and pull up some of the links from last year's program and just watch a couple clips of yourself,
Mhm.
it is amazing how much progress you've made, even with all this added trauma that you've had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like when you have a truth, like it sucks, but it holds you, man. Because if you did, I don't know how people do it without that. Because
I
you
don't
just crumble.
either.
I feel like crumbling, but I know he's with me. I know they're both with me. Um, I know how to connect with them if I need to. Even though sometimes Isaac is not always the greatest about that, because he's like that gentle soul. Like I'll come on me when I need to. Sometimes they're like, I wish you'd just be a little louder. Um, but God, that is, just
Be careful
tell
what you
anybody
wish for,
that's,
Debbie.
yeah, no, yeah, tell me about that, right? And he's getting older too, so maybe,
Yeah,
but yeah, anybody new to this group, God, that's like, you have to that's your biggest thing, is just learning that truth of,
gotta find your truth. Absolutely.
yeah,
You know what
so,
oh, Debbie, you know what I did? We did our basement too. We renovated
mm,
our basement a couple of years ago and we had to do the same thing.
mhm,
And my husband made like a big chest. And I
mm,
went through all of my, Kevin, I went through my daughter's stuff and she lives away. And I'd phone her and I'd say, okay, here's a picture. Should I keep this? Should I keep that? And then if a lot of it, I just threw it, threw in the dump or in the garbage. But when I came to Kevin's stuff, um, I was just terrified to do it. I was just terrified to go through his stuff, especially his toys that I kept and all these stuffies, and it was just awful.
mhm,
But we did it one morning, and I said to him, "You show me which toys you think I should keep in this
Yep.
box." And it really,
Exactly.
I mean, I was amazed how comforting it was. And every toy, seriously, every toy, I thought, yeah, he would want to keep this. Nope, he didn't want that. And it was really, it was helped tremendously. Like it really did help a lot just to ask him. And I felt him right there with me and
That's
Absolutely.
a good
showing me
idea.
exactly which one.
Absolutely.
That's a good idea. Now I
It's
just got
like
my other
It's
boys.
like the
Yeah.
dead kid version of that Marie, what's her face lady that does
Yeah.
the Spark Joy stuff, the
Oh, Marie
KonMari
Kondo.
method.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the dead kid version of KonMari.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good idea. Real quick before you go, I just wanted to say I was struggling with thinking about the holidays and seeing like commercials and things I would, because we went on to a vacation for a couple days, and and I would see a commercial and be like, oh, Isaac would love that. Oh, Isaac would have wanted that. And I, at the time, I'm like, yeah, we talk about that. And so I came back and I'm like, Isaac, I am struggling because I can't go Christmas shopping for you. And I felt him tell me, take my gift cards and go shopping for everything that you would want to buy me. Because we have these gift cards of his we don't know what to do with. And I felt him say, take it, go shopping for me, and then, put it in the toy drive for other kids going through it.
Absolutely. That's one of the things we did the first year for Leaf is we
Mhm.
adopted off the trees, right? The trees where they have all the tags that you can pull. We adopted a couple of 16-year-old boys. We did that after I had tried to go Christmas shopping and flat broke down in Target, like the nasty, snotty, heaving
Yeah.
Bolly in Target, and then proceeded to go eat lunch afterwards, still heaving, bawling, snotty mess. So
Mhm.
that was like, it was like, oh, the exact same thing, right?
Right.
Huge shift there, huge shift, right? And another
Yeah.
shift with that, Debbie, is to know that when they're in spirit, that's infinite possibility, right? That which means anything and everything, infinite possibility. So it's no longer, oh, Isaac would have wanted that. It's, oh, Isaac wants that, and now he can have it literally in the blink of an eye. It doesn't even have to cost you any money because Isaac can materialize it for himself at any given time. I
Right.
live in the infinite possibility realm a lot with Leaf. I've trained myself to it now, but at first I was doing it with any kind of trigger, like physical triggers like gifts or this or whatnot. I that's how I worked through you know, him not me never seeing him get married or this or that or whatever it was, right? So what I started doing was, oh, wait a minute, like he can have that still if he wants that. And if he had wanted it in his earth experience, he would have written that in, right? So if you go back and you make those broader perspective connections and bring in
Mhm.
more details of your truth, then that will help you shift through some of those things as well.
Mhm.
And you guys, and I know, because Debbie, I heard you say, I know he's here and I know I have him, but it still sucks. So, right? So there's going to come a point where you can eventually, I'm not telling you you have to do it right now, but you can eventually surrender into, I have him in his right here. And you don't have to feel the need to add the but this sucks,
Mhm.
because if you really sit down and sort through it and dissect it, you just said it yourself, man, can you imagine how bad it would suck if you didn't know?
Right.
God.
That would
No,
suck.
that I don't know how people do it without.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people
So,
suffer.
yeah, so that's a huge leap into gratitude, right? That's
Right.
what will propel you further into surrender,
Mhm.
okay? Is because you can say, man, yeah, it sucks, but it could suck a hell of a lot worse because I could not know my truth. I could not be connected to my child. I could
Mhm.
not have my new relationship with him, right? So,
Right.
and literally, guys, that's what I was doing every waking moment. Every thought that came up, if it was like an ego-driven narrative, I would lean into my broader perspective and say, you know what? Yeah, it feels like it sucks, but boy, howdy, it's such a lot worse in month one when I didn't know
Yeah.
that
Right.
he was available to me. So, and I just looped it. I kept looping it and looping it and looping it and looping it.
Yeah. And it also helps too that I like sometimes when I feel like I get stuck in those thoughts, like, those spiral downs, like sometimes I know I need help. And so I'll even go like, I'll ask for like Archangel Michael, like, help me cut these cords, help me cut this, because I can't do it myself. I can't.
Yeah,
Well, I can't. I'm struggling to stop the thoughts of
yeah.
the spiral. And so like I'm learning now from you, like go ask more, sometimes it's
Heck
even
yeah,
above
ask
Isaac.
more.
Yeah, like so I'm
Absolutely.
always like, my guides or Isaac, I'm like, or archangels, Mike, please just cut these cords because they're negative and I struggle to release them. I'm getting caught. And so I think that's been helping too, like just start. You don't have to do
Asking.
it by yourself, you
You
could just
don't.
keep going. So
Exactly.
yeah, and like I said, then those thoughts come in, like Isaac going, "Well, Mama, use my cards, go buy me those things." And there's the drive for the Ronald McDonald House, which we've spent a lot of time in different Ronald McDonald
Right.
House all over. So he's like, they were good to us. Be good to them. So
Absolutely. And paying it forward with your child, no matter their age, that is a huge, I mean, it's a huge energetic shift too, right? Because you're doing
yeah,
it together. It doesn't matter if they're an adult child, if they were an adult child and they like motorcycles, maybe you go to Harley and you buy a gift card and leave it for the next person to put on their purchase. Or we have a huge homeless population in Florida. So we've done stuff where I have actually sweats and stuff of leaves now that I'm like, I just want to take them and pass them out because it was chilly here last night. I'm not going to tell you all how chilly because it's probably a lot chillier where some of you guys are at. That sounds like Big Baby, but I'm acclimated. So like that's one of my intentions. I'm going to go pass out these sweatpants to some of the homeless dudes around the parks, so they have it. So finding ways to pay that forward with your child, that's huge. I love it that he brought it right to you too. I love that so
yeah.
much.
He was like, stop, do this instead, Mom. Don't even go there. Like that thought came
Yeah.
in pretty quick. Like, don't no, just do this, Mom. Stop going down that rabbit hole. So he's getting better
Perfect.
about that.
And
So
you're getting better at letting him
well,
get better at that too.
it
So
depends on the day. I'm not great at sometimes he'll be in there and be like, Mom, stop, listen to me. I can help you. I'm like, or sometimes the angels or my guides would be like, stop trying to control, stop trying to do. And Mary Kay, that's in this group too. She was on me yesterday about stop being so stubborn. You need to ask, reach out to people and stop doing this yourself. And I'm like, God, between my guides and Isaac and Mary Kay, yeah, it's kind of a all theme, like, stop it.
there's an underlying narrative here that's happening.
Yeah, yeah. So synchronicities. So
Exactly. So I
so
just want you to lean in, Debbie, and know that my goodness gracious. I mean, you come so far in a year. So far, with added stuff on top of it now. So do your radical self-care, surrender,
yeah,
because you're not in control anyway.
no.
Nope.
I'm trying, but no, I'm not.
And trying to stay in control creates resistance to flow, right? It
Mhm.
creates resistance to connection, resistance to flow, resistance to spirit. So, and it's
Yeah,
just it's that lovely ego self that we all
it
have
is.
within
Because my guides are like, the more you control, the less we can do to help you. And I'm like,
us.
dang it. Come on, can't this be like a even thing? Like I control, you control kind of thing. No.
No, nope.
Mm-mm. So
Well, I hope your dinner turns out well tomorrow. I'm
yeah,
sure it will.
me too. I said, if anything, this would be the one we can just laugh about years from now. Like, remember Debbie's
Exactly.
cooking? So
Exactly. And your mom may be laughing at you.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure.
she
Hey,
probably already is.
look at the bright side, Debbie. If it doesn't go good, you'll never have to cook again.
That's exactly.
True.
Well,
you
and
go.
I have a
That's
whole
the
family.
bonus,
I have a
right?
whole
So
family of like bringing side dishes. So if anything, we have lots of side dishes to eat from my
there
turkey
you
and my
go,
nuts.
and you won't ever have to cook a holiday meal again if it doesn't go good. So that's the
There we go.
bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Who else? Is anybody else struggling?
Well, everyone was talking. I was just, this time last year, is today the 24th or the 25th? The
I have
20,
no idea.
I don't know either. Anyway,
I'll tell you.
Zeke,
It's the 24th.
Okay, so it had been 11 days this time last year. And I'm just, I was just thinking about that and what it felt like. And I think we're in this stupid hotel. I'm not cooking for Thanksgiving. We're not in our house. We're not going to be in our house for Christmas. And so all my plans of how we're going to do something new, well, we are doing something new, but you guys, I have dove head first into like caring for other people, being a martyr, to a ridiculous point. And I think right now is the first time that I've actually stopped and been like, okay, wait a minute. How are you? So
Yeah,
I'm glad
what
I'm
do
crying
you need?
because I need
But-
to cry. I mean, that's,
Yes.
and I don't really, I don't know who the first lady who was talking. I definitely, I relate with everyone, but I'm telling you, it's this people pleasing thing for me is about pride. It's about pride for me, or that's what it feels like. But it's, I'm having a really hard time stopping. And, I'm here with my 81-year-old mother who is a pain in the ass. And I'm about to, as soon as we hang up, I'm putting her name in the freezer. And she needs to go to a nursing home and wants to go. But every time we do anything to make that happen, then she tells them, I just want to go back to the hotel. I'm good. I'm fine. And she's upstairs. She's been in the bed for 8 days. And I have taken her food every single day, 3 times a day, cleaned up her pee, pull up hickey things. And she told her doctor that I'm not feeding her right. And and I've been thinking too that I think that maybe this whole thing for me is like almost this like avoidance issue that I've used in my life, like my whole life, to not, I don't know, like as long as I'm nice and helping other people, then I don't even know if I'm making sense or not, but I sure am glad that I almost didn't come to this because I'm getting food from Mom, and Emma might have the flu. So I took Emma flu, but Emma is my fucking child and she's 19 years old, and I don't know if I can stop, y'all, or I don't know how to stop, and I've got to stop doing this. I have got to stop.
You're still very, 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 very new, Caroline. And this is the first step to shifting the behavior is to becoming aware of the behavior. And then becoming aware of how the behavior and the narrative is making you suffer or have pain. And when you have suffered enough from it and you've had enough pain from it, you will then start to have your spirit rise and take action to set boundaries, to do radical self-care, to actually stop and say, what is it that I need? It is not any of y'all's job to make anybody else comfortable in your grief. Caroline, you can still be grieving and take care of Mom. You don't have to shut it off to take care of Mom. If Mom can't deal with the fact that you're grieving, sorry, Mom, but I'm still feeding you. I'm still helping bathe you. You're still getting basic, your basic needs met. So if you're in a position where you have that kind of responsibility, then you're gonna have to learn to get comfortable making other people uncomfortable with your emotional state sometimes. because otherwise you're going to shove it down, shove it down, shove it down, and you're going to end up exploding and getting really pissed and being really reactive. And it turns to, most of the time, it turns to anger and bitterness and resentment. Okay. So anytime I find myself getting very resentful of anything around me, I always use that as a red flag to where is it. I use it as my emotional guidance system. Okay, I'm feeling resentful. Why is that? What is it that I'm not meeting within myself that I need to meet within myself? Right? Sometimes it's self-care. Sometimes it's, lack of sleep. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be a million things.
Yeah.
So you do need to cry. You need to, and you have to balance it, right? You have to balance it with, I feel like shit this year, but I feel a little bit better than I felt last year. So that's
Oh
your progress.
God, I was just so fucking numb and zombied out and just like in purity shock,
Of course. Of course.
And like now, I mean, I can feel that. Well, he's not really necessarily here right now, but if I call him, he'll come right back. Just a few minutes ago, he's sitting right next to me.
Yeah, he's always got a pinky, remember guys, the energy is like this. So this is the kids, and then they have this ray of energy, and it can all be pointing off in different directions.
Right. It's amazing.
Leaf's always got a pinky of energy on me. That doesn't mean that we're interacting all the time. It means he's aware of me. Or if I say, hey dude, like, come on down right now. Like I need 4 rays of your energy and focus instead of 1.
Yeah, no, you better get down here with all yourself.
Yeah, and he has no problem telling me like, well, you're gonna have to wait because I'm, off doing whatever I'm doing. So, you lean into that, but you have to go through the grieving process. You have to.
There are things that I need to do to set hard boundaries, and I don't know if I have the courage and the balls or the ovaries to do it.
You may not, right? In this moment.
Then this is not new, y'all. This is the story of my life. This is not a new thing. It's not a new thing.
Caroline,
it's not a new thing.
You can't eat that elephant. You can't eat that elephant all at one time. You got to do it one bite at a time, honey. One little boundary at a time. If that's all you can do is one little boundary and start there.
And that's the thing about the shattering. Guys, I know it feels, especially for those of you very new and very new still, I know it feels like the shattering is all about the kids, all about the kids, all about the kids. There's going to come a point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm crying more for me than Zeke right now, to be honest with you. Zeke is straight. I feel it every moment of all days. He is so good.
And
he's laughing at me practically right now, being like, come on, Mom.
They get to leave their bodies early. So to help be the catalyst for us to step into our higher self and our true self, and to understand our shadow parts, understand our duality, understand that it's okay to have shadow. Nobody's love and light all the time. I don't aspire to be love and light all the time because I'm still in a human body and sometimes I'm a bitch. So, I'm trying to.
I want to be a bitch now. I really do. Like, I want my inner bitch to rise way up. I really do. I mean, I don't want to be mean to people. I just want to be like, no.
You can set boundaries without being a bitch, though. Like, that's what I was telling Debbie. I think it was Debbie or maybe Kate. Like when I first started setting boundaries, I was very much a bitch about it.
Or actually, I just want to set a boundary. I don't even care how I do it. As long as I still appear loving and kind. See, that's the issue, and that's the pride crap right there.
Well, and where does pride come from? It's a low vibration emotion. So where does it come from? It comes from the ego self. Right. If you guys become vigilantly aware of which thought and which behavior pattern is coming from ego or spirit, it gets easier to sort through. Yeah. It really does. It takes some time to get easier to sort through, but it does get easier to sort through.
Yeah.
And here's
But
the
I'm
deal.
really proud of us, like me and my whole family. We made it through it's like a whole
did.
later year, man.
Exactly.
And and I got led to y'all, and my girls are still breathing, and they're, they're hanging in there, and they're growing, and it's messy, and I'm growing, and it's messy. But
exactly.
yeah.
And something you
Yeah.
said, Caroline, that made me remember. It's absolutely okay, you guys, one of the most powerful things for me after Leaf left Body was starting to do new things during the holidays.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I said I wanted new traditions, but I didn't mean like this.
But you can look at it as it's taxing or it's an adventure. Yeah, you're in a hotel. You know what? You could be on the street. It could always be worse.
Yeah.
So, for those of you, like, my first Thanksgiving when it was the same Thanksgiving we'd always had, right? All my huge extended family, everybody in the house together, blah, 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 blah. Everybody eats and then they play games and they fall asleep on the couch, and the same thing that I did my whole childhood, that my kids did their whole childhood. I'm in Florida now, and I'm probably going to wake up tomorrow and I get to literally spend the day however I want, right? I'm going to plant some plants, maybe we'll go out to a restaurant to eat, and then we're going to go to a friend's house and eat dinner. And Omri will go with us, but it took the nostalgia out of it for me, because nostalgia is such a huge loop, right? Debbie's experiencing that. The nostalgia is a huge loop. And when you change things up, doesn't mean you have to go full bore, but when you change things up, maybe you shift the menu, or maybe you have Boston Market cater, or whatever it is, you start to break that nostalgic loop. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with nostalgia, but when you're in grief and you're grieving, it can compound the pain. It can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're doing great, Caroline. And girl,
I swear to God, y'all, I'm trying, but I feel like I have slipped way back. Like I've fallen. Okay.
Time out. You never go backwards. This is ebb and flow. This is ebb and flow, and ebb and flow. So
and this is about me. It's not even about Zit. I mean, it's about what? Yeah. Oh my God.
When we shed old paradigms, we don't just shed old paradigms of the truth about physical death. We shed old paradigms about the way we see the entire world, ourselves, our relationships, the people we're around. I mean, we shed all of it, right? And it's excruciating.
Yeah,
that's why you have to cry. That's why I see when you guys are crying. I'm like, yeah, let the tears out. Scream, cuss,
and look, I'm grounding on the grass in the hotel in between. Can you see?
Perfect. Perfect.
And I don't care if I look retarded or not.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm all right. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Keep crying.
So for me, I was supposed to be down in Virginia with my niece's house.
I thought you were in Virginia.
I was.
Okay.
And she got real crazy with her and her, like, I went with my sister-in-law, and we went to her daughter's house, and she's like over the top, like screaming at the dogs, and like I was like 5 days, I was like, from the morning hitting the ground running till you went to sleep at night, she was just screaming and bitching and fucking moaning. I'm like, holy shit.
That's heavy energy.
Heavy. And I'm like, you gotta lighten it up, girl. Like, And so anyway, come Monday, she's got this great big Saint Bernard, and the dog's old, and So I let the dog out. She's got 2 dogs with 1 lead, and it's just chaos. It's just fucking chaos. It's craziness. So anyway, the dog goes out and she craps and she steps in the crap and brings it in the house. So now she's like, this is my fucking life, and blah blah blah. I'm like, I
Oh,
was like,
she's in the victimhood.
Yeah.
she's in a really, really bad place. And I was like, you know what? I have to leave. I have to get out of here. And she was like, okay. And so, on the way home, I was talking with my sister-in-law and I was like, we don't do that shit here. Like, we don't, like, we have our outbursts and then they're over. Like, but it's few and far between. Not good. Thank God, but I just like set boundaries for all that shit. And I will not live or be, be in that, exist in that shit anymore. I'm like, I gotta go. And I drove, 6.5, 7 hours home. And she's like, oh, well, I'm really sorry you were so uncomfortable. I'm like, you don't get it. But I'm not going to put myself in that situation. So I'm here making Thanksgiving dinner and pies.
I saw you had your apron on, cutting up some apples.
Yeah, I got rid of my apron. Got some pies going, and got stuff going. I'm like, I just, and when I came home, my son was like, so what's up? And I told him, and he was like, yeah, glad I didn't go.
But here's something that happens, guys, and it's a totally normal thing that happens, is that once we're all dealing with the energetic realm now, right? We're very, very aware of the energy around us, the vibration of energy around us. And so during your grief, when you learn to protect your energy, right? And you've learned to cocoon, and then you've learned to set your baby boundaries, and because you're trying to hold on to your vibration so you can learn to connect. When you go back out into the world, we are hyper aware of the vibration of other energetic areas, right? I'll point blank tell Omri, when Omri's down all up in her 20-year-old victimhood chaos, I'm like, I can't, you're toxic right now, and I can't with you. And boy, that just pisses her off even more, and we have a huge meltdown, but I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. Okay, Lynn, thank you. We'll see you Sunday. But because we are hyper aware of the energy, it can feel like a wet cloth or a wet blanket being thrown over you, and it feels absolutely disgusting. I can feel like my insides cringe with it, and you prove a good point, Peggy. Like, we all have shadow, right? There's going to be times when we're all low vibrating energy and we're pissed off, we're having a day or whatever it is. But when you're around people that live in the loop of it constantly, you are going to be hyper aware of it. I'm really proud of you for getting in the car and leaving, because setting boundaries has been difficult for you. And that, boy, that was cut and dry, man.
That was like, I was like up to here with like the shit of it. And then the anxiety was like way, way over there. And I'm like, you know what? I got to go. I came out of the kitchen and was like, listen, I got to tell you, I got to leave. I'm like, now packing my shit and leaving.
You're toxic.
Yeah, she was like way over the top, like, and didn't even realize,
No, well, they don't realize. They're stuck in a loop. They're sleepers, right? And they're stuck in a loop. Bless their hearts, right?
She's really, really stuck in the loop.
So you can, okay, Debbie, have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow, or have a Thanksgiving, whatever you need to do, girl.
It's going to be great, Deb.
You know what, Peggy, though? If you put it into the perspective of, like, send her love and light and send her healing, right? Cut your cords, surround and protect. Now you've driven back home where you actually didn't want to be for Thanksgiving this year. And you actually now get to experience being at your home, feeling lighter, because you experienced her heaviness of where you thought you wanted to be versus where you thought you didn't want to be. That's actually a very huge and profound shift.
It's really, as soon as I like was on the road and like even my sister, she was like, I can't move my neck. I'm like, yeah, that's because it's so much, you know. And that's my brother who passed in January 2001. That's his wife and daughter. And like, I know she's feeling it. I mean, we've all had, she lost her son, and you know, Megan, my niece, lost her brother, and you know, we lost Mikey, and you know, and I try to get her to realize, like, you know, and she gets it. Like she understands the signs. Like she'll get a song and it'll be like from her brother, and I'm like, they're there with you. You got to open up and realize that, like, yes, they are there with you, and she gets it, but she's just so
Well, but Peggy, you know it, you know that that's only a very small piece of it. If you're
right.
going to actually heal, there's so many other levels to work through, and you guys see it in the grief community. You guys
Right.
see it, right? There are people that they do get the signs, but they also still wear the cloak of grief and the cloak of grief entitlement and the anger and all of the things, because they've taken that one piece, but they haven't dove in to explore the rest of the pieces.
Right, because she's still at the this is my fucking life world.
Right.
And I'm like, but it ain't my world, it ain't my life, and change it if
Right.
you don't like it, you know.
Exactly,
So,
because we all do. You know, I've had
right.
people say to me, you know, Nikki, you need to reach out to this person. I'm like, I have.
Yeah,
You know, I no longer am going to drag anybody into healing. Those of you that join me here, I don't drag, I mean, I check in on y'all, but I don't drag you into me. I don't drag you into class. I don't drag you into your healing, because that's a personal decision that I had to make, that you had to make, Peggy. You know, Angie had to make it. Susan has to make it. Anita's had to make it. Evie has to make it. You know, we all, that's the thing. We all do have the choice, right?
right.
And you know, that's what I was alluding to on your post, Kate, is that oftentimes people will tell me that I seem colder and different because I'm not a bleeding heart, you know, to people. And I'm like, you know what? I know there's a way out of it. I know there's healing to be had. It's a choice that we each have to make. And so you know, even with Omri, when Omri gets down in her victimhood and, oh, you know, my brother died and all the trauma, and then my two friends died. And I'm like, and you know what? You know a way out. I know a way out, but you don't want to work at it. So I cannot sit and hold space for you 5 years later when you won't do the work. I mean, I say that to my own daughter. Boy, she gets pissed too. And I've recently gotten her, the man does the same damn thing that I do, Peggy, but she ain't gonna listen to me. So now her dad is paying a therapist who is an energetic, he's an energy, he's a therapist and he works in energy and he understands vibration. So now Omri's dad is paying somebody to do the same thing that I've been trying to do for free for her for 5 years. So, you know, it's, and, you know, so when I see those people, I mean, especially my daughter, obviously, but, you know, even other people, I send them love, I send them healing, but ultimately it's our choice. And that's where the boundary setting comes in, right? I was estranged from one of my very best friends from childhood because, and she was amazing for me when Leaf first passed because she'd been a bereaved mom for 20 years. Well, she also would drink a fifth of Crown every weekend or every other night, and that's when she would grieve. And then the rest of the time she was okay. And after 3 years, I was like, I can't, like, dude, I can't, this is not an effective way of healing, right? And so we didn't speak for a year because I was like, I can't do it like that. There's a different way. And I can't sit with you in that, you know, every 3 days when you decide to drink a fifth of Crown and cry, like, you know, cry whenever. So that's where we learn to set boundaries of, yeah. And it doesn't mean that she won't heal, and it doesn't mean that that relationship can't come back around, but right now it's not for you, you know? I think that's huge that you got the car
I
wash.
do, man. I'm proud of you, Peggy. Like, I
Yeah.
think Peggy and I are a lot of like in some ways, and I'm impressed, man. I'm like, go, Peggy.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome. That's
My
awesome.
kid's gone. See you later.
So
That's awesome.
Thank
That's
you.
totally
lighter?
awesome. Yay, Peggy.
Are you feeling lighter and ready for tomorrow then?
I'm feeling okay. I'm home. I know when I got home, my lights were doing a light show in the kitchen like that. That I have all these lights in the kitchen, like that side's not even lit, but all these lights were going back and forth, like, yay, we're home! Like, get out of here, you know. Mikey was happy to
Go,
be home.
Mikey.
Yeah, because
Good.
Mikey would not, he'd be like, Meg, like, calm the fuck down, you know? What the hell are you freaking out about? Like, you know, yeah, so I am.
That's
So
good.
when I actually did Kat's what do you call it, meditation last night,
Her guided connection.
and I had the beach one, and I had the phone on my chest laying there, and I was like, I woke up to some guy talking. I'm like, what happened? I just like went totally out. So yeah, that meditation put me right.
Good.
I gotta try it again.
Good. Good.
Yeah, it was really cool. So
All right. Who else? Where's everybody else at? How are we feeling? Angie, how are you feeling about tomorrow? You okay?
Yeah,
That was not very that was not very convincing, Angie.
I'm good.
Okay.
I just got some crap going on at work. You know, you give your company 20 years and 50 hours a week, and then they want you to do 10 hours more a week and drive an hour and a half one way in the dark and the cold with deer. Just some work shit going on. So I've been
Gotta love the Earth paradigm.
kind of been looking around for some other employment, and yeah, shitty time to do that to me over the holidays after, you know, I gave them so many years. But
True, but you know what? Maybe universe is leading you to something even bigger and better that you're more suited for now. You know, truly, truly, truly. And usually
yeah,
what I've seen when you can step into that surrender is when the floodgates will open. You know what I mean? It'll be like, oh, here's one and here's one and here's one. Which job do I want to do? You know?
well,
So
honestly, that's kind of what happened. Like 20 years, I've probably sent my resume out like 5 times. I started sending it out, and people were calling me like 10 minutes after.
well, yeah, you have 20
So
years under your belt.
huh?
You have 20 years of experience under your belt.
Yeah, so just that on top of the holidays is just, you know, tough.
Are you bringing turkey in tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, to the best that I can. I should be in classes, and I say I say hi, and, you know, talk to him. Not
It gets hard when
not
you
like
have
you
to
guys.
be, well, it gets hard when you have to be more earth focused, right? With work and with all of those sorts of things. You know, that's why I always recommend that for those of you that are really busy. I mean, obviously, if you're working 60 hours a week, Angie, you're like super duper duper busy. But if you start to feel disconnected, sit and make a date with them. Sit and make a date with them and say, you know, I'm going to sit down, do a guided meditation, or I'm going to automatic write, or whatever, and make a date with them once a week. You know, that way you don't feel totally disconnected. But better things are coming. Every single solitary time that I've had what was perceived as a loss, it has, when I've been like, okay, I surrendered, just move me into where you want me, it's like whoosh. So The whoosh is coming.
It's scary though when you're not sure. I downright said no, I'm not doing this, and I'm like, well, what if they fire me? Like, where am I going to get my money? How am I going to pay my bill?
It is terrifying, but do you trust her?
Do what?
Do you trust your son?
Trust? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you trust spirit?
Yeah.
So every time you get terrified, and I know it's terrifying, just say, all right, I'm trusting you guys. Like, I'm trusting you guys. Because what you're doing is you've set a hard boundary, right? You're like, no, I'm not doing that. I've given you 20 years. I'm not adding 10 more hours on a week. I'm not going to drive these roads late at night in the cold where I'm going to hit a deer possibly. You're setting a boundary. And setting boundaries is terrifying, guys. There's no if it can be jobs, people, places, it can be terrifying. But when you trust spirit, it will always work out to your highest good. That's what happened to me when I hopped in the car to come to Florida, had $2,000 on me and no place to live. And 3 years later, we just moved into a new house. And classes are going good. And I got my grief coaching certification. I'll tell you what, I had to trust. That's the most trust I've ever had to like live in, Angie, and it was terrifying. It was terrifying, but it also has led me to literally my best life. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. I gave them enough years. I gave them enough tears like they didn't deserve, like my tears. And
yeah, well, it's invalidating. And when you're like an empath, right, and an emotionally aware person, when you're dealing with people that don't have that, especially in like corporate America, right, or
they're fucking cold. Like, they're just cold.
And it's every system. It's every system in on the earth paradigm. It's healthcare. It's public education. It's the social work. It's every system. You're gonna find those people, and it just universe will start nudging you. Like, this is not what you want. This is not where you're supposed to be. So you just lean in and you trust, and you say, okay, I'm fucking terrified, but I'm gonna trust you to lead me to the right place. And say that a
Kirk
lot.
watched that like his whole life, like me dealing with crisis situations round the clock, working all the time. Like, he said, how do you do that? Get out. Like, because it pays well and it keeps the roof over keeps the roof over your head, and you get to wear some nice clothes. That's why I do it.
It doesn't surprise me now that he's like, it's time to move on, Mom.
He's always said, get the hell out of there.
Now he's making it happen. Just lean into your trust. And it is hard, girl. It is hard, but lean in. When I didn't feel like I could trust the universe, because I'm like, what the fuck is happening? My whole world is falling apart again. What little safety I felt, I'm like, you know what? I trust Leaf though. I trust Leaf, and I know he's guiding me, and he won't steer me wrong. And I would literally lay in bed some nights like, okay, I'm totally trusting you, because I don't know what the hell's going on right now. And the other thing is, the worst has already happened. The shattering's already happened.
Mhm.
So, the rest of it, it'll pan out. Just got to trust and surrender. Trust and surrender. That's why I still wear the word surrender around my wrist. I've had this on for 4.5 years. So that's why. And it says surrender. And when I can't do it, boy, howdy, I look at that bracelet. I'm like, okay, surrender, surrender, surrender. So you got this. Better things are coming.
Yeah.
Who else?
Can I speak, Nikki? Can I speak?
Course. You don't have to
Okay.
ask me, just speak, Anita.
Well, I'm not on my Peloton, so my head's not moving.
I
My
know.
husband, he says, "Oh my God, the poor people at the Zoom meetings, they must get dizzy watching you." And so anyway, so here I'm steady right now, but I have to
get
share
jealous.
with you.
just make me feel bad because I'm like, damn, I should be on a Peloton while I'm doing
I'm not
this.
doing anything wrong. So I have to share something good with you. It'll be 3 years this New Year's Day. My tragic day of I was going to say losing Kyle, but we haven't lost him because he's still around. He was 21 years old. But what I want to share with you, I've been working with Nikki for quite a while now, and her classes and so many other things. But I'm an operating room nurse, and today we have a new nurse. She's been working with us for about a month. She doesn't know my story. She doesn't know. Yeah, I'm not going to just come out and say, yeah, I'm the mom with the dead kid. It'll come up in our conversation at some point. I know it's going to come up, and it's not like I'm keeping this secret from her or whatever, but it just, the opportunity hasn't arisen. But today she came up to me and she looked at me and she said, Anita, I have never met anybody like you. She goes, you are so happy in the morning. She's talking about the mornings. She says, I've never met anybody like you in the mornings. You're always so happy. You have so much energy. And you're so, she went on about me. And she said to me, thank you for making me feel good at work. You just make, bring me up. And I stood there and I said, thank you so much. But I also looked at her and I said, you know what? I work at that. I go, it's work for me. I work to get where I am. Now, she has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, so I will tell her. But you know what? It made me really feel good because this healing, we do work at it. We work to get where I am. I really feel like we've really put an effort in here,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I just felt good.
When it's seen from outside people,
yeah,
it does. It's like it does feel good because it's very validating. Like, oh, thank God, I haven't just been kidding myself. It's actually working.
I know. So, I really make an effort in the morning. I'm getting up at 4:10 now. It's quite early,
oh my God.
and so I'm getting on that Peloton, and I'm really meditating. I'm meditating, and I'm reading this great book. It's called something about the awakening or something, and I read it every day. The point I'm making is that it sets my mind into motion. It physical fitness is just so good for us. And then also, of course, you all know, a lot of you might not know, but I love that gratitude and affirmation exercise that we do every day. And I do it faithfully. I mean, the whole thing is just so wonderful. That's my greatest tool.
I love that. So do you feel like you're moving into tomorrow, like on a really high vibrating disc?
Yes, tomorrow's going to be good. My daughter, it's funny. I don't have either of my kids. My daughter is in Michigan. She's 20 years old and she's there for the Ohio State game. So it's going to be a different day without both my children tomorrow. So I'm having my sister and her family and her kids, and I'm honestly looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be good. Yep.
Awesome. That's a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
And isn't it funny too? It always strikes me as so ironic, right? Like Omri, for who knows what she'll do tomorrow during the day, right? She'll do whatever she wants to do, I guess. But instead of having like sadness because we're not having this big huge thing, it's kind of like, oh, well, Omri will do whatever she wants to do until she comes over. But all I have to do is be like, hey, Lee, come on down here, and he'll actually be more available to me tomorrow during the day than she probably will be. You know what I mean? So that's the twist. So I love that. That's awesome. That's a win. Man, I hope we can carry that momentum into Christmas and New Year's, girl. We'll be doing awesome. That is awesome. And you're right. Like, that's why I've always been like morning ritual, because it sets the tone for the whole day. And if you intentionally get yourself in that vibratory space, then the rest of your day can build on it. And then even when you do have shit that comes, like it's a blip at that point. It doesn't like, you know, blast it all the way back down. It is so powerful. So I love that you're reaping the rewards of that. It's that's nice. And you're like glowing.
Yeah, we just won't talk about how truly shitty and lazy it makes me feel that Anita gets up at 4:30 in the morning to ride a Peloton. Seriously, I'm having a hard time hauling my ass out of bed at 7 o'clock to do the gratitudes and affirmations, and I only do them before I go to work.
Maybe I don't feel bad that she gets up 4 in the morning and I don't. I'm like, more power to you, girlfriend. That is not my bag.
Makes me feel lazy.
It doesn't make me feel lazy. Why you gotta take it personal? It shouldn't make you feel lazy.
Because a certain
Because
child
Kathy
a
has,
certain child in spirit keeps, poking me that I need to do more of that kind of stuff. But yeah,
she didn't
this
tell you to get up at 4 a.m.
yeah,
to
this
Peloton.
person, the only thing I do at 4:30 in the morning is pee, and then I go back to bed.
Exactly. If Leaf told me to get up at 4 a.m. in Peloton, I'd be like, oh, hell no. That is not happening. I will just stay right here in this bed. I love you, boy, but it is not going to happen.
Yep.
And I wouldn't feel lazy about it. I just be like, nope, mama's in the flesh and this flesh tired. Maybe we have to have Anita do a grief fitness class and we can all wake up at 4 a.m. We'll be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll pass on that one. I love you, Anita, but I ain't
We'll
about
all
that
be like,
4:30 in the
well,
morning thing.
yeah, we'll all be like, is this going to be recorded for later viewing?
Right.
Oh, how's everybody else doing with tomorrow coming? There's a few of you left. I will call on you if I have to.
Go.
Brenda's on. I see Brenda pops on at that point. My idle threats work.
I'm just like kind of melancholy today. Like,
Are you?
it's like tomorrow's just another day. I got my ass kicked all day by a 3-year-old.
Oh God.
Yeah. He
That
takes
sounds exhausting.
tomorrow's meal, and yeah, I'm, I don't know. I'm not as anxious as I was last year at this time at all. Like I just
That's
had
good.
but this year I'm not feeling it, which is good. And yeah, I plan on setting the table with Josh there and
Good.
And the rest of us. So I'm good.
Hey, I'll take that as a win. And I think melancholy comes even if, like last year, everybody was melancholy because it was COVID, right? And we couldn't have these big things. So I think holidays are always going to bring a little bit of melancholy. And it's that nostalgia, right? Like, oh, the white Christmas. Like, I'm in Florida. I don't even realize it's Christmas until I look around. I'm like, why are there Christmas lights in the palm trees? It feels totally weird for me, right? Because I'm from Missouri. It snows in winter there. That's how we know Christmas is there, you know. So my first year in Florida, I got real melancholy just for like, and I hate snow, Brenda. Like I hate it. But like for snow and twinkling lights on like the postcard type shit, right? That is not how it was. I would be there with the whole damn family and they'd be driving me crazy. So we have to like sort through what the actual reality is versus what the melancholy and nostalgia is bringing to us, because they're usually two entirely different things. you know?
And I was going through pictures last night too, because that's my project now. Like I'm trying to get as many pictures of my son off of people's Facebooks and printing out photos of him for River, for his son.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm going through these pictures and I'm like, oh shit, this is what it used to be. That was really good. That was great. I missed that.
Are you talking to him while you're doing it? Are you asking him to come down and help you go through the pictures?
Oh, absolutely.
Good, good, good.
Yeah.
Are
Oh,
you hearing him telepathically?
yeah, he's telling me to shut the fuck up.
That's what I figured he was. He's like, oh, you don't even know what good is, mom. Like, I got it.
Just cooking. It'll be all good, you know.
Good. I consider that a win. You know what? Like I said, a little melancholy is, I think that's normal. I think we can have that. None of us had ever experienced any physical loss of anybody we knew. I think there's still, because of the way the ego self and the earth time work, I think that that nostalgia and that melancholy is, it's always going to be there. You know what I mean? A little bit, unless we lean into the now and stay very present, which is hard to do when you're doing a picture project, you know?
It's okay. I'm present today, and it was just last night for a little bit, and life moves on.
Yeah, we move forward with them. And that's something that I want you guys all doing tomorrow morning to gear up for the day. Get grounded. Get your feet in the grass. If it's too cold, you're at 5 seconds. Do a tree root ground, a visualization. Get grounded, because staying present all day long is going to help you all. Okay?
And wine.
And wine. White Claw for me.
Uh-huh.
And wine if you're a wine drinker.
The other people that are coming here.
And surround and protect, because you don't want to absorb other people's energy either.
When Peggy was talking about being down at her sister-in-law's house, that is exactly what my mom brings to the table.
Girl, you got to surround and protect. And if you have to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes to cut energetic cords and re-surround and protect, do it. Do it.
Very well aware, and yeah, I don't let it it doesn't it doesn't bother me anymore. I just kind of let it come and go, and once she's out the door,
You're like, woosah. And the thing about that is, that's actually a good point, and something that we all learn when we start stepping into our highest self is how to stand in our vibration without taking on somebody else's vibration. And some days that is one of the hardest things for me to do, right? Is to stand in my own vibration, especially if it's Omri and she's being super intense. Like I'll just become it, and I'll get sucked right into it. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now, is like standing strong in my own vibration, not taking on somebody else's.
and my Jared gets that way too. And it's like, I tell him, I'm like, I can't do you right now. Like, you need to go someplace else, and I need to be here. And I've heard enough. I don't want to hear anymore. So, I'm just telling people right and left, get the fuck away from me.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Like, I got that boundaries thing down. That's awesome. I think that's good. I consider that a win.
I do too. And
Perfect.
I'm not sitting here crying today like I did. Yeah.
Well, and you're going through pictures. I mean, you could really be all the way down in it if you didn't do the work that you've done,
Oh, it started a few weeks ago that I went down the basement, and I thought Josh had taken everything to his house with him when he moved out and got married and yada, yada, yada. Well, I found, then that opened up the can. And I sat with that for a long time, and I went through all that stuff. And then I'm like, you know what? I just have to get through the rest of this stuff. I've got to make it nice for River, because those are his memories now. That's what he's going to have. So, it's here, it's there. And, I let it roll. It comes in and then it rolls out, and then it comes in and it rolls out. And
that's perfect though. That's perfect. You let it come in, you're aware of it, you let it wash over you, move through you, and then you let it leave. And when it's done what it needs to do, you let it leave. And that is the key, right? Is not becoming it, not letting yourself get so far down in it that you can't get back out of it. You know? Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Giving.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Susan, that did not sound like a two. You're like, happy Thanksgiving.
I've got to go, so I'm just going to say bye-bye and thank you. And I'll see you next time.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sis.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Evie, Bernie, any updates with you two? Can't see either of you. You're muted, Evie.
No, now I'm in
Hi.
the garage smoking, but and I've quit smoking. I'll tell you that. But already, I'll smoke one or two of his in the morning, and maybe one or two at night, and maybe one in the middle of the day. But I'm cooking. Hey, that's still called quitting. From a pack a day, that's called quitting.
You're damn
But
straight it is.
that's right. I'm cooking, and everything. It's like from. I went shopping twice, and that was it. And normally I'm going to the store a billion times. Everything's in order. My pies and desserts, everything's done. It's just like night and day from last year. But that did not stop me from. I mean, I've cried every day for a week in the grocery store. What do? I make fruit salad because I miss my mother who departed in 2005, and that was my thing and I've quit making it, but I got a fruit salad. I've got the best fruit salad, and everything's good. But and like who was just talking, and it's just it comes and it goes. I let it, I feel it, and then I let it go. I still get mad. I'm mad still. I mean,
That's
so.
Okay.
But
well, we talked about this. You got some burn letters to write, Evie.
Oh, listen, I've written them, and I still hadn't burned it because I'm still not sure. I'm not sharing it.
No, you can't share it, Evie. You have to burn it.
I know. Yes, and I wanted to do that right, but I do still
maybe.
No, because now I'm really just I can really just laugh about most of it because when I went back and reread it. So
lots of blessing their hearts. You know what I love those what I'm seeing with you guys, like Evie and Brenda, and they're like I am ebbing and I am flowing. You know what the difference is, you guys, is that you're allowing it to come in and move through you, and then you're allowing it to leave. You're not sitting in it and putting yourself in this prison cell for the whole duration of every moment of the holidays. You're still finding ways. You're still seeking joy. You know, like Nathan said the other night, secret sauce, seek joy, right? So that you're actually doing that. You're cultivating joy, and it's okay that the heaviness comes, but then you're stepping out of it and you're shifting and you're seeking joy after that, and so you're ebbing and flowing, and that's a perfect place to be in your healing. You know,
and listen,
next year it's going to be even better.
It only takes me a minute to know that he's the lucky one. I mean, I just that's where I go, and it's just like, you know what, he would not want to be here, and I can honestly say, and I already know. He says, I don't know. If I could have him sitting here, I would. I said I would not, because I know what he has. He has perfect peace, perfect love. He got the gift. Yeah. So, but I did like what you said about being present. I'm going to really try more to do that tomorrow. And I've thought a lot about what Nathan's trying to get through to me, because even though I do have a hard time, I'm present more than I ever was. I never even knew anything about it. Hell, if anybody could be inside my mind before I met you, oh Lord, nobody would want to be there. I didn't know one thing about being present. I mean, I spot it. I mean, I can see people who just don't get it, and I'm thankful that I do, but I'm still not where I want to be. I want to be present in every single moment. So I'm going to work on that tomorrow.
And I will tell you, Evie, even 5 years out, as hyper vigilant as I was in the first 3 years, as I've gotten back into the earth paradigm, especially like with, I'm going on like day 8 of 12 and 15-hour days of like me being, I sit and I work on my phone, all the time. So
yeah.
In fact, I had somebody reach out and say, Nikki, are you okay? Like, I haven't even seen you online. I'm like, I'm too damn busy. I'm up. I'm up and I'm moving shit and I'm putting shit together and I got to do this. I got to build a shed. And I'm like, I've moved through that and I've disassociated a little bit. I'm going through some of it rotely just as a means to an end to be like, fuck, I'm exhausted and my body hurts. So even where I'm at, Evie, it's funny the way human beings work, right? Because I know how to stay present. I know how to do it. I did it every waking moment for 4 years. And now in my 5th year, it's we get complacent, right? So it's like, and then the old pathways come back where you're floating around and thinking of this and you're not present.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed with this move is like, hell, I'm stubbing my toe and that's my tell is when I'm not present, universe will let that be known and I'll hurt my damn self on accident, right? I'll screw the screw into my hand or because I'm not present. I'm not focusing on what I'm here doing in the now. I'm going, so don't feel bad. And I don't know besides Eckhart Tolle and monks, I don't know if anybody can ever naturally become presently aware every waking moment. I don't know. It's a good thing to aspire to, but I don't know if I'm capable of that. Maybe I am. I don't know. So don't get, don't be down on yourself for when you're not, because as long as we're aware that we're not, that means we're shifting into the awareness of being present even in that act. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing that it's crazy unless you've experienced it that you don't really know that it works. Watching your thoughts. I mean, you don't have to do anything about it, but recognize it. And I am not kidding you. I'm like, okay, there's no way. When I'm first learning about that, I'm like, okay, just watch it. Okay, yeah. It's phenomenal, really. What it stops it. I mean, I have noticed my brain rest here lately more than it's ever rested. I mean, I'm just, so I'm not doing too bad, but I still feel, I don't know, stuck, but so, I'm doing pretty good, and I'm gonna work on my morning ritual. I've not been doing it. So
I know.
Again, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. But like you said, I mean, knowledge is power, and you can't change what you don't recognize. So
exactly,
as long as I recognize it, it's there's hope. So
exactly, and you don't beat yourself up about it. I'll tell y'all. I mean, and that comes with anything. I had been keto for 2 years. Well, I can't do that right now during this move. I've eaten like shit, trash. I put trash food into my body and it feels like crap. And every day I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. And I know I've gained weight back from it just in 2 weeks time. Like, this is so bad. And then I'm like, you know what, Nikki? In another 2 weeks, you can get back on eating healthy, exercising again, So Evie, maybe you're not stuck in it. Maybe you're just moving through it at the pace at which you need to right now.
Right. And I'm also learning, which is, this is a good thing, is I'm being kind to me. And
Yeah.
I didn't really realize how I was made humor. I don't do me that way anymore. So overall, I think I'm doing pretty well.
Perfect.
So
Perfect. I love seeing those of you that were in program last year and then where you're at this year. It's like, holy smokes. You know what I mean? Like, holy smokes. What huge phenomenal growth in a year's time. You know, I love
let me
seeing
tell
that
you,
part.
who was the one that left the family's house and got in her car and drove?
Peggy.
Oh,
Miss
oh,
Peg.
Peggy, my hero, because that's you've come somewhere to do that. That would be hard for me, but so freeing. Oh my gosh, I would love to be able to do that, which I don't need to, because all of my family is, I mean, they're with me, you know, as far as Nathan being here. And so I don't have any resistance like that. And I don't really have anybody that brings in any negative in our gathering. So, but I'm telling you what, I was just like, I was laughing out loud when I just love that. I mean, that is some serious boundary setting. I love that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's super.
She's been working to that build up too for a year, I tell you. She's been working it.
I'm telling you, that was awesome. So
I think
yeah.
this is a win. Yay. That makes me happy.
Yep. Me too, for sure. No, I definitely am in. It's like night and day from last year to, it's like last year, nothing, every single dish I made was different and weird. I mean, it was all the same stuff, because that's what we do, the same stuff, but there was something wrong with everything, and everything is just so smooth and in such order that it's just like, I'm like, man,
that's flow, Evie. That's you being in flow.
Yeah.
Nice,
I like it. It does.
Nice.
It does. On top of dental work, I had dental work on Monday, and I've been in pain the last 2 days because of this infection, and he pulled a tooth that probably didn't need to pull. Anyway, even with that, I'm still doing all right. I'm take my medication and then, eat some crackers and milk and then rinse with salt water, and I just keep on going. So it's good. It's good for me.
That's a win. That's a win.
Yes.
Perfect. Bernie's got spirit messing with her hair.
I do.
I know. I can see it. You're like, she got kids touching on her.
Yeah. I love listening to everyone. I really do. It inspires me. And you're right. Seeing how far they've come from last year to this year, I've really been okay until like the last hour. I'm just very tired. Kate and Tony and I sat up till 2 a.m. and just, it was good. But we left home Friday. We spent a nice weekend in Amelia Island. We got to Kate's on Monday. Bernie and the kids coming up tomorrow. Kevin's coming up tomorrow. So, I'm not used to the confusion.
I wish Nikki was coming up tomorrow.
I wish Nikki was coming up tomorrow too.
I get to see Kate in a few days though, so that's cool.
Yeah. Things are good. Things are good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy we're all going to be together. And I know Pat's always with me. He's here. He's here now. He'll be here tomorrow.
Absolutely. You think the last hour has been just because you're tired and
I'm very tired.
Are you feeling nostalgic? Are you getting in your nostalgia?
Probably. Yeah, probably. And it was funny being away over the weekend. I was getting signs from my mother and my father and my mother and my father, like stupid things. I have to show you this because you're going to think I'm crazy. But so in our hotel in Amelia Island, I was closing the bathroom door. It was a pocket door, and I saw this little, hold on, I'm going the wrong way. I saw this little handle and lock, and I'm like, I took a picture of it and I sent it to my sisters. I'm like, this brings back, it like took me back to my childhood.
That's
Oh,
a huge
man.
sign.
Yes, it took me right back to my childhood. Oh man, I can't find it. Anyway, do you remember years and years ago when Christmas dolls like moving, you know, used to plug them in and they would move? And so when they first came out, my dad bought, they were in Victorian clothes, and he was on a ladder with a candle, and I remember what she looked like, but I don't remember if she did anything. Smack there they were in a window in one of the stores, you know? It was like they were with us the whole weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It'll be hectic, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm just not used to it anymore, but I love being with the kids and the grandchildren, and, you know.
Yeah. Well, and Bernie, when you start to get in a funk, right? And this goes for all of you. When you start to get in that funk, and tomorrow, if you're starting to get oh, I wish they were here, I wish they were here, and if you can't quite get it shifted, start running through all your communications in your mind. Start running through your signs. Because that sparks your spirit and going, hello, duh, they are here, they're just different.
Yes.
And then you can have that shift. And you can lean into, like, you're glowing when you're talking about your mom and dad spending the whole weekend with you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not hearing you say, oh, I wish my mom and dad were going to be here tomorrow, right? Because you're like, oh, shit, they're definitely
Yeah.
going to be here. So lean into your communications. You know what I mean? That helps immensely,
Yeah.
immensely. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not even convinced Leaf's going to be with us tomorrow. I think he's going to be hanging out with all of y'all because I'm not even doing a dinner. He's like, what the hell, Mom?
So we baked with the girls yesterday. We made pizzelles, so that was fun. It's been good. It's been good.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay, Bernie, to if you're feeling nostalgic and you need to let out some tears, just to let it out and
I know.
and get lighter. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Get lighter.
Yeah. And I also feel like I have not been able to immerse myself in the class because I left home on Friday, and it's chaotic when you're around the kids all the time. I haven't had a lot of downtime, so we'll be home Friday night or Saturday. What?
Yeah, there's plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a busy week anyway.
Yeah. Yes,
with
it is.
class and I probably should have started class last week, quite honestly, but I was playing with times this week. So, but I think that as we move into December, everybody will kind of be home and grounded, and we'll be able to kind of set more of a routine, and that'll be okay.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be. And if they're not, they're hopping in the car and driving 7 hours back home and setting a damn boundary. So
good you go, Peggy. I'm gonna hop off.
did go. I went, all right.
I know that. I'm so proud of you. I'm gonna hop off. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I love you.
Bernie, tell everybody I love them and hello.
I will. I will.
Love you, Bernie.
I love you too. Enjoy your new home, and everybody have a good day tomorrow.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
I think overall we've got a pretty good vibration going for Thanksgiving tomorrow. Get back to your tools. Kate, get some tapping for your agitation. Kate's like, do we have a good vibration going, Nikki? I see your little sneer look at me. You are cranky. God. Use your tools. I want everybody to set the tone. Follow Anita's lead. Don't do it at 4 a.m., but set your tone in the morning. Get your vibration hooked in the morning so you can set the tone for the rest of your day. Stay very, very, very present. If you're around toxic people tomorrow, surround and protect, cut your cords, sneak off to the bathroom and do it, guys. Sneak off into the bathroom and be like, Archangel Michael, come down, cut all these cords, and surround and protect me with a force field of divine white light so I can stay in my own vibration. Be very present. If you find yourself going back to the past, right? Do a quick 5 senses ground just in your mind. Look around, 5 things I see. I see a white wall. I see a laptop screen. I see, Kathy's beautiful thingy behind her. So 5 senses ground, 4 things you, what is it? 5 things you see, 4 things you feel physically, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, 1 thing you taste. Yes. So do that as many times as you need to. If it's cold there, walk out in the grass for 2 seconds barefoot and get back in. Whatever you need to do to stay present, do it. Do it. And Pam, that goes double for you. You have big celebrations tomorrow with Thanksgiving and birthday. That's where Leaf's going to be. All y'all's kids, they're going to pop in for a minute and they're heading to Pam's for parties. So, Does anybody have anything else before we pull cards and close out? Pam, do you
Happy
have
birthday,
anything to add?
Brandon.
Yep, happy birthday, Brandon.
Thank you. Thank you. He's with all of the kids, no doubt. And he's going to live it up.
They're partying.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
He
Yeah.
already is. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to have with his friends. In a couple of weeks, we're going to all go to a bar. And so
Fun. That'll be
but
fun.
yeah, and Nikki, when you posted on that you moved and that you saw some of Leaf's things and tears came, I thought, well, that made it more real for me because I feel, and I've said this before, that I think my grief is okay. And it's just more shadow work and all that crap, but it just felt good because lately I have been really easy to cry, and then I'm baffled, like, well, why am I like this? But it helped to hear that you saw some of Leaf's things and tears came to your eyes.
Yeah. Well, and I think people get removed. I get removed from people sometimes because where I'm at in my healing, I've moved through most of that. And Kathy saw me walk through my grief. So she saw me and I was posting very publicly. So she saw me down on the floor and, she saw the icky stuff with me. Right. And watched me rise from that. The rest of you really haven't gotten to see that part of it for me. And you hear me talk about it, but so I think that it does. And maybe that's why he does hit me sometimes upside the head with it, is so that, I am thankful though, when that happens, because then in that single moment, it's surreal again, like how fucking far I've come, like, holy smokes, right? Because in day-to-day life, we get complacent with it. And so there's actually time after that happened, Pam, that I was like, whoa, this journey's so surreal, because that gets lost in the day-to-day sometimes when you're not down in the deep grief anymore. And you know what, Pam? You don't even need a reason to cry. If your body feels energy that it needs to purge, you don't always even have to name it. There doesn't even have to be a reason behind it. You know what I mean? So just let it out. I mean, and that's the thing. There came a time with me, in the beginning, I'm like, fuck, I'm so tired of crying, cry all the time. Can't put my damn contacts in because can't go through the damn day without crying. And, all the time. Then as I moved through my healing, right, there were times that I was still feeling grief, but I also knew my truth. And so tears would not come. So I was like, damn, I knew that a purge would make me feel so much better, but there wasn't enough to conjure up the tears, right? Because it was like, so I had to figure that out. And so now to be able to have tears every so often, regarding it, it really puts my whole journey in place. And it is a huge reminder of the darkness that I've walked out of, So I'm actually very thankful when that does happen. And it doesn't happen very often. And when it does, it's very brief, but it almost felt good. I will tell you, it almost, and I called it, I was talking to a friend of mine. She's the one that messaged me. She was like, "Are you okay? Because I haven't seen you online or whatever." It was the day that I posted that. I said, and I told her what had happened. I said, what I realized today is that it was beautiful pain. In that moment that I opened that trunk, it was no longer terrifying pain. It was no longer, deadly pain. It wasn't suffering. It was beautiful pain in that brief moment that just let me fully remember, like, holy smokes, where I've trudged.
But you probably know, that he's with you all the time, obviously.
Oh,
So
yeah, absolutely. And that's why what made it so different is like, it wasn't that in that moment I was crying because I thought he was dead and gone. It was pure nostalgia. It was pure nostalgia, and I could feel the energy that was stored in that trunk, right? I could feel his energy, his old energy that was stored in it. I could feel the energy of the trauma, like the darkness energy. I could feel it. It was palpable to me, and just all of it. It was like, whoosh, you know what I mean? And so it was beautiful pain. And that sounds crazy. Like, that is not anything I would have ever described this as, but in that moment, that is exactly what it was for me. And you know what? I am so thankful for those surreal cathartic moments, because in my day-to-day life now, like, once you start melding both paradigms, you don't have those moments of very much anymore. And it's not because you're not having them, but you're used to them. So they're not quite as bright as they once were. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to them. So to have something that felt that overwhelming in that moment actually felt very, very good again. So yeah. And then I was like, damn, I kept too much shit. Now I got to pack all this. Ollie's got to take this trunk with her. I'm tired of hanging on all of it. Back to earth business. So yeah, but thank you for that. Thank you for that a lot, and I probably do need to share more about, I probably need to be sharing my memories that come up, because I was very vocal in my pain, like very vocal publicly on my Facebook in my first year. And so I had these memories pop up, right? And it's like, oh my God, I fucking hate my life. I think I'm gonna die. This sucks. I miss my kid. Blah. Like, that's what some of my memories that are popping up. And then I'll have one like yesterday. It'll be like, down in it, down in it, down in it. And then the one yesterday popped up, and I'm like, holy shit, I was 2.5 months in and I did a post about being thankful. Are you kidding me? Like, because I don't remember a lot of those nuances of my journey, because I was in trauma at that point, So I probably do need to share more of that stuff, quite honestly. When things calm down, I will. But it is flipping ass chaos in this household right now.
Well, and I just one more thing. I can see all of our kids together eating their dinner, and they're pointing down, looking, oh, that's my mom, that's my dad. Oh, no, I mean, I can just see that. And it really
absolutely
helps, because I don't feel so alone, because they're
Absolutely.
all together.
Yeah. Causing a
And they're proud
ruckus.
of their family.
Absolutely. I 100%
Thank you.
believe that. I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
You have a great birthday with Brandon tomorrow. I want you all to know, if you get down in it, I will have my phone on me all day. Reach out and message me. Okay, if you feel like you're going to send all your whole family to be with Anthony, just reach out and I'll talk it down. If you guys need me, reach out and message me. If it's to say, I'm having a hard day, this fucking sucks, whatever it is, I will have my phone on me. Okay. So other than that, have the happiest Thanksgiving that you can have. I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot better this year than last year. Okay. So on that note, Kathy, would you like to pull for us?
Yes. Let me give it one more shuffle. I'm going to pull from the Mystical Shaman Oracle tonight. So I've been shuffling a little bit while we've been sitting here. And
tomorrow morning, I will pull messages from heaven cards and I'll post it in the group. That way everybody can get their message from their kiddo.
okay, what we got tonight is number 8, the circle. So, okay. Unification, interconnectedness, and a sense of continuum is what this card implies. The circle reminds us we are all one, dancers in a unified, continuous, inclusive circle. This card reminds us of the cycles of life and the evolving self, ever changing and always connected. Human, spirit, nature, the cosmos, all intrinsically connected. When the circle appears, it reminds you that you are connected to everything and everyone, including to spirit. Spirit's essence beats in your heart and inspires you to co-create your world, knowing that you count, that you have purpose in this world. Imagine even a smile to a stranger can change the course of a life. When the circle invites you to dance in the sacred steps of life, know that your work, your love, your service brings greater value than you can know. Stay the course, keep dancing, and all will be well. When the circle comes as your medicine, you're meant to come to an understanding of the importance of decay and letting go, the importance of dying to an old form and being reborn anew. If you are faced with the challenge of loss or disappointment, remember this. In the circle of life, nothing is ever wasted. Love will seek itself again. Prosperity will come from a new idea or opportunity, and spirit always waits for you to find your place in the dance again.
Miss Angie, that hits home a little bit. Awesome. Okay, guys, like I said, holler if you need me tomorrow. Let's close this out. Anybody else want to do the closeout, or you just want me to lead it? Anybody? Anybody? I know y'all got it memorized. We've done this for a year now. Let me spit out my gum. If not, it'll come flying out of my mouth while I'm invoking prayer. All right, everybody, big stretches. Oh, wait a minute, before we go, I needed to tell you guys this. If you guys are shopping online on Black Friday, if you do Amazon Smiles, right? Kathy, do you want to tell them this? Because I don't really know what I'm talking about, because I don't shop online.
If you shop on Amazon, just it's up in the upper corner near the Amazon Prime logo. You can click Amazon Smile, and you can search for Warrior Parents United and choose it as your preferred charity. I saw you sporting your shirt tonight. I like it. It's too cold to be wearing mine where I am, but it's all right. So then when you start shopping from smile.amazon.com, I think it is, every time you shop, a portion of what you're already paying Amazon will be donated to Warrior Parents United. It doesn't raise your prices. It doesn't add any surcharges or anything like that to your order. It's just, we get a very small portion of the money that you were already spending anyway. So it's a really painless way to give to Warrior Parents United, and it helps us help other people either with funeral expenses or paying their bills while they're really in the very horrible depths of early grief. We have helped families transport bodies from one end of the country to the other. Just a variety of things, scholarships to classes just like this one. So consider that and choose us as your charity on Amazon. We would appreciate it.
We are also, Giving Tuesday is November 30th this year. Emily, I can never say her last name, Artifovich, Artipovich, that's not how you say it. Emily is in charge of that campaign this year. I know she needs more volunteers. It's super easy if you guys want to get involved. All you do is set up, and there's a private group that she will put you in, and you literally just set up, you know, the fundraisers that you set up through Facebook, and you go through and you pick a fundraiser. You pick Warrior Parents United as your fundraiser, and then you share it on Giving Tuesday. Angie, I know you're already in the group, so she'll start like talking about all of that soon. So if and you know, Healing Warrior Parents, that is part of the outreach from Warrior Parents United. That is part of our just it's not public, it's private, obviously, but it's part of the outreach work that the organization does. And then my business with the coaching, I also do outreach there. That way we team up to do it. So if you guys are interested on being on the Giving Tuesday team, to launch, it's a super simple way to again raise money for the organization so that we can continue to help other parents. The reason that came about is because I had to depend on Leaf's GoFundMe to have his body transported from South Dakota to you know, having his visitation, his cremation. I found ways to do his memorial very cheap. I did it at the ball field where he played ball, and I did all the flowers myself and all the things myself. But there are families that don't, you know, that we didn't have life insurance on Leaf. So there are families that don't have that. And this just helps take the burden off them when they're going through that really, really rough patch. We probably helped, I bet we helped with around $7,000, maybe $7,000 or more last year, going out to families to help with, like Kathy said, post-loss financial stuff, you know, everything from body transportation to memorials to headstones to, you know, all kinds of things. So if that's something you guys want to get involved in and you feel a little philanthropic, you do the fundraiser in your child's name in their honor. So it's a way to also bring them in and work it together to make the world a little bit, you know, better for people that are going through what we've all been through. So if you're interested in that, I'll have Emily post something in about it. Gosh, that's just in a few days, isn't it? So, and just let us know. Other than that, that's all I've got. All right. Now, everybody get relaxed. Deep breath in and out. Close your eyes, visualize, and repeat after me. Archangel Michael. Archangel Azrael.
Angel Israel.
Please come down.
Come down.
And cut all energetic cords.
Cut all energetic cords.
That feed me negativity.
Feed me negativity.
That leech away my power.
Leech power.
That do not serve my healing or my highest purpose.
That do not serve my healing or my highest purpose.
Please surround and protect me.
Please surround and protect me.
In a force field of divine white light.
In divine white light.
Thank you, and so it is.
Thank you, and so it is.
All right, get that energy moving through your hands, through your body. Chest hands, chest hands. All right. Palms up, arms out. Nice big deep breath in. Close your eyes and say, I call all of my power back to me now.
All of my power back to me now.
See those rays of light coming in from each other, coming in from all over the globe if you've been online, coming in from all those people you've been on the phone with, that you've had to work with, that you've had to contend with and interact with all day. All of those light beams come down into the palms of your hand. You start to feel it get warm, and as it hits the palms, it turns into liquid light. And like ink, it fills the body cavity, going down the forearms into the elbows, up through the upper arms into the shoulder areas. You may start to feel flushed, and it relaxes the muscles as it moves through you. It fills the chest cavity, lights the chakras through there, up through the neck and into the head, opening the crown chakra, warming the third eye. It flows back down into the chest and into the abdominal cavity, through the hips, the buttocks, upper thighs to the knees, as it moves down through the lower legs and the calves, to the heels of the feet, and to the tips of your toes. I want you to get a good strong visual of your body glowing with your divine power that connects you to source and to spirit and to your kids. When you see it and you can feel it, say thank you, and so it is.
Thank you. It is.
All right, ladies, I love you all. I'm here if you need me tomorrow. Let's do this. Everybody eat stuffing for me. I miss stuffing. Okay? Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving,
Happy
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Good night.
What time is dinner, Peggy?
Oh, all day.
Okay, I'll be over.
I got the
Bye.
prize.
Thank you. Love you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Anita has to go to bed. She has to get up in like 2 hours.
Good night.
Okay.